Hey everybody, Zach here at Etrailer.com. Today we're taking a look at the Swagman XC2 on our 2015 Toyota 4Runner. This is going to be a good bike rack if you're looking for something to carry your bikes to the trail. You're not looking for something that's got, it's not super high end. You're not wanting the top of the line bike rack. You just want something to do the job. So this is going to be a really good option. You're getting that platform style rack, which is what I prefer. This is going to be a frame mount style, so not ideal for everyone. If you've got a carbon fiber bike of any sort, I would not use this bike rack for that. I'd look for something with a wheel mount. Now those do tend to be a little bit more expensive than this style bike rack. But if you're just riding regular, aluminum road bikes or mountain bikes, whatever you've got, this is still going to be a really good option for you. So this is going to hold itself in place really good there. The car is moving. The rack's got a little wiggle to it, but as we're going down the road, our bike is secure. So we're getting really good grip there down into these cradles. Now, when it comes to the type of bikes we can carry on the XC2, like I said, no carbon bikes. We've got a 35-pound capacity per bike. So we got to keep that in mind. A lot of bikes of this sort are probably going to fall under that, but we do want to keep that in mind. If you've got a big, heavy mountain bike, that's not something I'd really want to put on there. Sometimes those big cruiser bikes are probably going to get up over that weight capacity too. But if you're under the 35 pounds per bike, good option for you. The cradles right here are going to be about 2.5 inches in tire width. Now, most road bikes, hybrids, cruisers, not going to be that big. Really, that 2.5 is when we're starting to get into the mountain bike tires. We do have a really good wheelbase capacity, though. So 52 inches, that is one of the highest that we offer. Really, with those bikes, you're stretching it out there. It might make it a little bit awkward trying to get the other bike on there, just the way these cradles kind of slide back and forth. But just regular bikes, going to do a really good job on that. Now, one thing with this bike rack that a lot of platforms do offer when you start looking at more premium options is the ability to tilt it away with the bike's loaded. So me getting into my hatch right now, I can't open this up. It's not going to happen. I can use the glass. This bike has a little bit wider handlebars, so it's going to be a little bit of a problem getting in there. I could just go around to the other side, though, to get into that back glass. So if that's something you're worried about, if you're consistently taking your bike and going and getting groceries or need to get helmets and stuff out of the back end, I'd maybe look at something that can tilt away. That is a feature that I use all the time whenever I'm taking my bike out. I always have my helmet on and then realize I need to put it back in the car, or I stop and get groceries on the way home. So it is something that, for me, would be a deal breaker for this bike rack. But if that's not something you're worried about, it's still going to do a really good job. One thing this bike rack does lack too is locks. So while you're in the grocery store, you're not going to be able to lock this. Now, it does have a little spot right here where you can run a padlock through there. I think another really good option is a locking cable lock. A lot of bike racks have cable locks that come with it. The Etrailer cable lock would be a really good option. You could wrap it around the bike, wrap it around the bike rack, and run down through your safety chain hooks on your hitch. Really good option there. So just something to keep in mind. We're saving some money, but we're losing some features. But the main goal is to just get bikes to the trail. Going to be a really good option for you. I'm going to get the bike off real quick and show you a couple little features, give you some specs on it. We're going to get this first rearmost cradle pulled up, hook. And here, if you can take a closer look, this is going to be pretty dense rubber. So sometimes these are going to be foam. But this is pretty thick, so not going to deteriorate as fast as foam. You'll see foam on really entry-level bike racks, and that seems like a really good option when we're putting it on our bikes, but over time that starts to break down. So this holds up a little bit better. Now, the downside to this, it's probably going to cause some scuffs on your frame. Usually it's nothing more than just being able to take that off with just rubbing your thumb on there, but something to keep in mind if that's something you're worried about. For me, though, what I can do here, some people like to take these all the way off. If it makes it easier to get that your bike off, that's one way to do it. For me, I just take them up as far as they can because I don't want to have to lay them down and mess with that. I'm just going to take the bike off this way. We do get some good clearance there, so it allows me to take the bike out that way. Usually on vehicles where that sits a little bit closer, that's when taking the hooks all the way off comes in handy. But with that factory hitch on the 4Runner we have today, it gets us out far enough where it's easy for me to take that bike off. So to get these down, you can see there's a lot of teeth on the side of this, on each side for each cradle, for that to grab into. So there's a lot of adjustability there. And then it does not come up. I am causing the bike rack to shift a little in the hitch there. So holds good until you press that button to release it, and we get those down in place. Now, also looking at these cradles to accommodate those different wheelbases, we can spin this knob here to loosen this up and slide it along here. Now, for me, it's easy to do, but I think over time, if you're making that adjustment a lot, which if you're only carrying the same bikes every once in a while, not a big deal. I have seen this kind of wear out over time. The threads just get a little loose, and it moves a little bit, but when the bike is on there and you're holding it in place with this hook, it's not shifting back and forth. So it's not so loose where the bike is moving back and forth, but it's just slightly loose. So not the most confidence, but I feel like it holds up enough. But if you're not moving it around, you know, for us here in the shop, we're putting lots of different bikes on, so we're moving a lot, so it's seeing a lot of wear and tear. But gonna hold up good for you overall. Let me get some measurements real quick before I start making more adjustments to the bike rack. Give you some added length to the back here from the bumper, that is. And I'm sitting at about 23¼ inches to the rearmost part of the bike rack. So not taking up a ton of space on the back of the car here. Something to keep in mind though, whenever you're pulling in the garage, it is added length. We're not able to make that any closer. So leaving this on throughout the week when we're not riding, maybe not the best option for you. Going to get another spot here to show you how if you were to leave it on your car, we can pull this pin out right here and we can lower this down. So it can go in either direction, so whatever makes most sense for you. And the one thing to that is, depends on where the cradles are, or the arms here, and how they line up with these knobs. So sometimes you got to take them down a little bit more so it lays a little bit more flat. But this is how you'd want to store it or lower it down with the bikes off if you needed to get into the hatch. So like I said, going and getting groceries, whatever you want to do, now you have to take the bikes off to open that hatch up all the way. Kind of a hassle. So getting something that gives you the ability to tilt it away is an option. Now there is a version of this that you can tilt it away, so I would definitely look into that if that's something you want to consider. Swagman makes a lot of really good bike racks at a pretty fair price for what you're getting. I think they offer excellent value. Not all of them are going to be as premium as stuff that you'll see from like Kuat and Thule, but I think they're going to provide a lot of value for your use and give you some good features. So they give you some different options. Now when it comes to ground clearance, we do get a nice rise in that shank. Probably going to go right here. We're sitting at about 22¼ inches, so good rise there. And then the closest point is going to be about just shy of 10¼ inches, so pretty good space there. And now I'm going to give you another measurement, or not another configuration of this bike rack, excuse me. This one maybe isn't the best for riding around, but I like this one for when you have it off the car. So I was talking about all the other bike racks and premium options, and those are great. They do a really good job, but they're really big and bulky. And what I like about this is if we're not going to use it all the time, we're not going to keep it on the back of the car, you've got to store it somewhere. So if you're only taking this out every once in a while, you know, maybe going out once a month, it's nice because you can make this really compact. And you can see there, those buttons are kind of getting in the way again. But what's nice about it is we can make this really compact, and I could fit this on the shelf in my garage, so not taking up a ton of space. Makes it really tight. Now you could keep it on the back of the car if you want. It's totally up to you, but for me, I think taking it off the vehicle, keeping it in the garage, this is a good spot. If we take a closer look down here, we can take a look at the hitch. Now we have this with the 2-inch factory hitch today. You can take this sleeve off right here, this exterior piece, and it works with 1.25" hitches. Now it's only going to be for class 2, so keep that in mind if you've got another vehicle in the family. But it comes with that anti-rattle bolt, and you can see there, I'm moving the whole vehicle with that. So all that road vibration in your vehicle isn't getting as transferred to the bike rack as much. Now, with this being a more entry-level bike rack, there are some moving parts there. You're going to hear that maybe, but there is going to be a little bit of movement to it. So overall, I think it's still going to be a nice solid rack for you. There are definitely better bike racks out there. If you're looking for some of those key features, Swagman definitely offers them. But if you're looking for just a bike rack that's going to get you out there every once in a while, I think this is going to be a really good option for you. But that's going to do it for our look at the Swagman XC2 on our 2015 Toyota 4Runner.
This is our test course. Let's start with the slalom. This shows side-to-side action, such as turning corners or evasive maneuvering. Then, onto our alternating speed bumps. This shows twisting action, such as hitting curbs, potholes, road debris, or even uneven pavement. Last of all, the solid speed bumps. This shows up and down action, such as driving through a parking lot or parking garage, or driving in and out of a driveway.